Hello and welcome to our presentation for Vargas Elementary School. This is a presentation for all interested families in our program of choice, Student Success Through Science. We are welcoming new families to Vargas for the 21-22 school year next year at any grade, but probably mostly kindergarten and TK. And we're excited to share a little bit about the program with you. My name is Catherine Armstrong. I'm the principal here at Vargas School, and I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Mr. Austin.
I'm John Austin. I'm the assistant principal here at Vargas. Good to have you guys here. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so we are a science-focused school here at Vargas. Our program has been running for almost 8 years now, with the idea that science is hugely engaging for students, and it inspires curiosity. And through this program, we've received several awards. We are a gold ribbon school, as well as recipients of the Hoffman Award most recently. So we're super excited about the work that our staff and students do every day to incorporate science in daily instruction. All right, we're going to walk you through a presentation about our program, share a few highlights about our school in general, and we really hope you get a real feeling for what it's like to be a Vargas scientist on our campus. Who we are. So something we really like to pride ourselves on here at Vargas is really that we're scientists. Our students call themselves scientists. We usually address our student body as scientists. That is who we represent, and we're really proud of it. We are a neighborhood school. We, like I mentioned, have received the Gold Ribbon Award from the state. We serve TK through 5th grade on our campus. And we're a nice small community school of about 425 students. We have 22 teachers on our staff. We are so fortunate to have a science instructional coach who has really helped our science program flourish here at Vargas since its beginning. We also have an early literacy instructional coach on our campus and a wide range of support staff to help us do the great things we do on a daily basis. Our mission at Vargas is to strive to create an engaging learning environment in which students develop their sense of social responsibility, scientific curiosity, and desire for lifelong learning. So what makes us unique? Oftentimes when we're describing our school and we mention that we're science focused, it leads to the question of, well, doesn't every school teach science? And yes, every school does teach science lessons, but we really like to think about the way that we teach science and just the number of opportunities we provide our students to learn by doing and really explore the world around them. We believe that we believe in education through a science lens. Like I mentioned before, it's highly engaging and students learn best when they do things and through experiences. Science promotes critical thinking and inquiry, and it really prepares students for the future. Just think about the careers that might exist in our future that we don't even know about in which science is involved. Here at Vargas, science is a part of everyday life. Students are making science connections throughout all content areas throughout the day. We have weekly hands-on lessons in our Vargas Science Lab or garden classroom. We've opened a maker lab, and we also have a wide range of learning excursions, a fancy name for field trips, that are science focused. Now, obviously, this year is a bit different with school campuses being closed and our classroom spaces not open to all of our students right now. A lot of this looks different this year. We have to follow safety guidelines. And so what our lab activities and learning excursions will look like next year, we don't totally know yet. Right now, they're all virtual. We are hoping that we get to open up these spaces at some point in our near future, but we are doing our best to make sure, even in the virtual setting, or if it's just the classroom setting, that we bring these hands-on science experiences to our students in those spaces. So regardless of location of the learning, we will make sure it is hands-on.
So to give you a bit of an overview about what life might be like for your student if you do choose to enroll at Vargas, we put together this timeline. One question we get asked often is this a program that's separate from the neighborhood program? And the answer to that is no. All students at Vargas go through our learning as scientists. So this applies to every single one of our students that's on our campus. We're very proud of that. So starting from TK and K, even the very youngest kids get to do their very first lab experiments in the lab using inquiry and experimentation. They take regular visits to our garden classroom, and science notebooks even start in our kindergarten classrooms. Of course, they're going to get more advanced as they get older in age, but even from a young age, they can start making observations, for example, in the garden, and start doing sketches and diagrams of the things that they see around them. So we really like to start from a very young age and get their natural curiosity linked into the classroom and in their learning. We have a wide variety of partnerships. We'll get into a little bit more of that later, but starting from a young age as well, we have Palo Alto Junior Museum and Life Lab are two connections that we have that bring hands-on experiences to our students. One example you can see in the picture of the students interacting with real life animal pelts and other kind of artifacts from the natural world, and making observations about them and just learning about them. From going to first and second grade, everything just gets more advanced. But then we also bring on more partnerships like the Sky Dome Traveling Planetarium, where students can interact with the night sky from the classroom. We have mystery science lessons where there's an inquiry-based lesson where students learn about science using natural curiosity and asking questions, creating hypotheses, etc. They deepen their learning in the garden, and they really get to use their science notebooks as a lab tool and a learning tool that goes with them between all these different lab settings and their classroom. And then moving on to third and fourth grade, we get into more of the components of the scientific method, and they really have to apply this in the upper grade when they do their science experiment. Often science experiments are done at many schools, but we place a very heavy emphasis on the student doing these entirely by themselves. So we provide some time for them to work on it at home, but they really are doing it mainly here at school. So we really want them to internalize the scientific process rather than have it be a kind of a one-off activity for them to do. We do learning excursions, as Mrs. Armstrong mentioned, fancy name for field trip, to the Palo Alto Baylands is one example, and lots of other examples as well. One example of an experiment they might do is in fourth grade, we do a cow eye dissection. And this is one of my favorite pictures of all time. I believe it's the top left of your screen, maybe the top right. This fourth grade girl is holding a cow eye, and you can just see the look on her face. She's having a good time, but she's also thoroughly disgusted, but she's doing it. And I mean, just you can see how much learning is taking place and how much growth, but then also just the engagement and how much fun the kids have at the same time when they get to really dig into these things hands-on. Really, by the time they graduate from fifth grade, they're performing experiments at an independent level. Like I said, really internalizing the scientific method. Dissecting could be sheep heart and lungs. And they also go to science camp in fifth grade, like the rest of the Sunnyvale schools do. And they leave Vargas well prepared for the rigor of middle school and high school science programs. Our students are very often called out by their teachers in middle school for really knowing and being very well prepared for the classrooms, and especially when it comes to working together in a team and dividing up tasks or speaking about science with your peers and doing inquiry-based learning, things like that. Our students really excel in that environment by the time they get to middle school.
So we've talked a little bit about science notebooks. This is a big part of our science program, even while we're in this virtual school format. Every one of our students in kindergarten through fifth grade has a science notebook at home to use when they are doing some hands-on activities in their home setting. Here at school, here's some examples of how our students use their notebooks. You can see that in some cases, they're in the lab using their science notebooks to record their findings And in some cases, they're in their classrooms. Like Mr. Austin said, this is a tool that comes with them to the lab every week, but it's also something that they utilize in their classroom as well to make connections to what they did in that hands-on experience in the lab setting. In the early years, a lot of the recording that they're doing in their science notebooks is drawings or illustrations of what they're observing during an experience or a lesson. They might be labeling something that they are observing as well. So taking that scientific vocabulary and attaching it to an image that they've drawn themselves. And as they get older, obviously they're going to be adding more language to their responses in their journals or their notebooks. One thing that our school also really focuses on is the claims, evidence, and reasoning format in which students learn to make a claim, state the evidence, and then really explain the reasoning behind why they made that claim. So it's definitely a strategy that lots of our students learn throughout their years here, and by 5th grade, they are quite proficient at it. These are just a few more examples of life in our science lab. You can see that we have lots of different opportunities. In one of our pictures, you can see some students with a paper plate. It's got a squid on it, and kids are dissecting a squid in 4th grade. This is actually an activity that is done with one of our partners, the Palo Alto Junior Museum. And we're so fortunate that even in this virtual setting, we still have that partnership, and our students in 4th grade actually just took home a squid and got to do their dissection virtually, but with a real squid. It was memorable, I'm sure, in those households for a variety of reasons, but the kids really loved it, and the adults that were around did too. We often bring in other activities that involve live animals. You can see some bats in this one classroom. There's a big tarantula in another picture. So we have lots of opportunities for students to really experience science, whether it's observing an animal or actually participating in an experiment.
So the latest lab to join our campus is called the Maker Lab. So this is, you may know them by another name of Maker Space. So the Maker Lab is just a place where there's a huge variety of different materials and just a wide variety of different activities that students can explore. We have a few stations set up in there, art station and electronics, programming, video editing, so with the green screen, engineering, so students can really get hands-on and explore a lot of these different things. And our teachers have been learning a lot about how to use it. And of course, this was something we were very excited about before the pandemic hit, because it is a communal space that everyone uses. So of course, it's been shut down for a while, but we're very excited once we are able to open back up to get students back in there and using the materials again. You can see some examples here. The first picture is of some of our teachers learning how to best use the space and learning how to program a particular robot called Ozobots. Our students created a Beyblade stadium for themselves to use their Beyblade toys in, their little battling tops that they spin and they battle each other. So they made a stadium for themselves to use at recess. So we thought that was a lot of fun. Some students built something like a telescope looking thing, and they've made a whole wide variety of different things. And you can see 2 5th grade girls building at the engineering station. That's actually in the science lab, but they brought the Maker Lab to that space, which we can also do, is bring some of those materials into the classroom or into the other spaces of the school too. So it's a really cool space. And when we do open back up and you're new to Vargas, I'd highly encourage you to come in and ask for me or Mrs. Armstrong to go walk you through so you can check it out. So we've mentioned a few of our partnerships, and we really have a huge variety of partnerships. So this is a sampling of them. First Five and Playworks and Bossy Girls and Community Services. The list goes on and on and on. We know that it takes a wide community to teach kids. So we utilize these different partnerships and organizations to help us do that. And to really, our goal there is to teach the whole child, from the brain to the heart to the mind to the body and everything, and really see a student's education as something that needs to be very well rounded. And these partnerships help us do that. So we also focus on what's called social and emotional learning. It's a bit of a buzzword in education right now. You might have heard of it, but we do a variety of things to support in that area, and it just means to make sure that we educate the child to be well-adjusted socially and also emotionally as well. So we have some examples are Dolphin Pride assemblies we do every month, where we recognize students for doing either having some kind of academic success, or they are also recognized for highlighting different character traits of the month. So the character trait this month, for example, is self-management, where students learn about what it means to self-manage. How do you not let yourself get distracted? What can you do to help keep yourself on task? How do you keep yourself organized? Those are all skills that we can learn and we can teach, that are so critical to success, but sometimes they can be taken for granted or glossed over in the classroom. So we make sure to highlight those different skills in our students. We focus on a growth mindset and mindfulness. We have lots of student leadership opportunities. Even here in the virtual setting, we have our student council producing videos, helping the rest of the school connect with the different character traits of the month, for example, or highlighting different events that might be coming up, dine out nights, things like that. We do our best to incorporate personalized learning for students and really connect with what their interests are, and teach them starting from a place of their own interests. We have counseling services. We are very fortunate to have a full-time social worker that works with us here, so we can loop her in with any student that's struggling in any kind of way. We have a community outreach liaison that works with families very closely to get them connected to any services they may need, or understand what's out there in the community, summer camps, things like that. And we really focus on an inclusivity for students with disabilities, or really anybody with any different abilities. We do our best to make sure that everyone gets a nice, well-rounded education, and especially in science, but in every other regard as well.
So before we close out, we wanted to share some information with you about upcoming information sessions, or just ways to connect with us so you're current with any upcoming news and events. Given our situation with campuses being more closed and less accessible, this is really a great way to stay current with information that seems to be constantly changing as guidelines shift and change throughout this experience. So we encourage you to definitely connect through our different social media accounts that are listed here, and just regularly check our website for current information. If you are available for one of our information sessions, we have 2 next week, or maybe it's this week if you're watching this the week of these sessions. Maybe they've passed. If not, please call the office and we can see how we can help you. But if you're available, we have 2 sessions at the end of January. We would love to see you there. Really, these are our best attempt at being able to hold a tour. We can't hold tours like we would in the past, where you get to see classrooms. We can't do that for a variety of reasons. So this is a great way for you to connect with us on a more personal level, ask questions that are burning on your brain, or that you've been thinking about for next year, registering your child. We really encourage you to connect with us that way. We are very happy to connect with you on the phone, or meet with you if you have further questions or can't make one of these dates. And just to close out, we really hope you choose Vargas. Vargas is a great community. I'm so proud to be principal of this school and community. It's definitely a very family feel here. And I think you feel that when you walk on our campus, even in this setting where it's just maybe an office visit. It's a great place to work. It's a great place for kids to be. But again, you need to make the best choice that's for your family. And we have great schools in Sunnyvale. All of our schools are fantastic. So make the choice that feels right for you. We hope you enjoyed our presentation. Again, reach out if you have questions for us. We'd be happy to answer any of them. Making a decision about your child's school is a big one, and we are happy to talk through that with you.
Yeah, as Ms. Armstrong said, this is a very different way that we usually do these. So if you have any particular requests, just know that we're more than happy to meet them. Let's say you're a kindergarten family and you would like a virtual tour of the school, I will walk around with my phone or my laptop via Zoom, and I'll show you around, and I can show you a kindergarten classroom. You know, whatever you need to feel comfortable here at Vargas, we're more than happy to help you out in some way, shape, or form. So our information's on the website, of course. Please send us an email, give us a call, whatever you want to do to connect with us. We're happy to help.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope to meet with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.